Why do some nations survive while others collapse? And how did a land splintered by hundreds of kingdoms, languages, and identities choose to govern itself as a single democracy? In 1947, India was finally free from the British Empire, but the reality on the ground was grim. The partition of the subcontinent left deep, violent scars. Millions of displaced refugees migrated across new borders, pushing the newborn government to its breaking point. Simultaneously, the map itself was fractured. Sardar Patel took on the monumental task of merging over 500 autonomous princely states into the Union. Stitching the territory together was only the first step. To actually govern this traumatized, highly complex geography, India needed a completely new legal and philosophical framework. In December 1946, the Constituent Assembly convened in New Delhi. Across 145 meetings, statesmen drafted the rules for a country that didn't fully exist yet. They didn't work in isolation. They studied Britain's parliamentary systems, analyzed the American Bill of Rights, reviewed Ireland's social directives, pulling practical elements from each. The result of these debates was synthesized into the Preamble. It acts as a mirror to the entire document, a declaration of the core values and goals. It resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, explicitly promising justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. A philosophical declaration sets the direction, but it doesn't run a country. To enforce those promises, India had to construct a massive functional government apparatus. The framers wrote everything down. Originally consisting of 395 articles, the Indian Constitution has grown through pragmatic amendments to include approximately 470 articles today. To manage a vast geography filled with different languages and cultures, they designed a federal system. Administrative power is explicitly divided between the central government and the states. Under the parliamentary system, sovereign power rests with the elected parliament, to which the executive cabinet remains accountable. To ensure the legislature and executive stay within their bounds, the system relies on an independent, centralized judicial system. The Supreme Court has the absolute authority to review laws and strike down those that violate the Constitution. This complex web of checks, balances, and shared power was engineered to maintain stability, and that stability exists to protect the individual citizen. The true test of this massive state architecture is how it treats a single person. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar called Article 32 the heart and soul of the Constitution. It guarantees the right to constitutional remedies, allowing any citizen to directly appeal to the Supreme Court if their rights are violated. This diagram outlines the 6 specific fundamental rights currently protected. These provide the social and political atmosphere necessary for a civilized life, acting as a direct shield against both state overreach and historical exploitation. But in a functioning republic, rights and duties are 2 faces of the same coin. Freedom requires active responsibility. Added through amendments in 1976 and 2002, the Constitution outlines 11 fundamental duties. These require citizens to protect the integrity of India, preserve the nation's rich heritage, and improve the natural environment. The 86th Amendment specifically outlines the duty of parents or guardians to provide educational opportunities for their children between the ages of 6 and 14. This is the core bargain of the Republic. The state is legally bound to protect the citizen, and the citizen is expected to actively participate in building and protecting the nation. The framers didn't want to build a rigid cage. They wanted a system capable of adapting to the future. To guide future governments, they included the directive principles of state policy. Borrowed from the Irish Constitution, these serve as an ethical compass for the administration. There is a distinct difference between the two. While fundamental rights are strictly enforced by courts of law, directive principles cannot be questioned in court if they aren't implemented. They are based on Gandhian ideals, acting as a constant reminder that the ultimate goal of the government is to establish a true welfare state centered on social and economic equality. We see these ideals in action through universal adult franchise. By guaranteeing the right to vote to all citizens over 18, the Constitution proves that sovereign power rests entirely with the people. The Constituent Assembly built the machinery of the Republic, but a democracy only functions when its people are willing to operate that machinery. This document shows the original preamble from 1950. The ink on that page has dried, but the process of building the nation is still ongoing. What role will you play in the masterpiece of this democracy?